This year I've accepted the challenge of Goretober and Inktober. I will be showcasing my October drawing journey, so feel free to tag along and draw. Throughout this, I will be using India ink, PH Martin specifically. I really enjoy using them. I highly recommend them. They are super drying, so they dry really fast. Super drying. They dry really fast, and you can really jump around the page and use them without smearing them a bunch. Throughout, I was super stressed out thinking I'd smear them with my hand because I just jump around, and I really should just stick to work from the top left down, but I do what I want. So that made it really good for me. And I'm using paintbrushes to put them on paper, if that makes sense. And if paintbrushes don't work or I get too upset or annoyed with them, I'll switch to my Micron pens. But so far I have not had any difficulty. I really want to push myself to use pens or paintbrushes because I'm someone who struggles with using like felt brush tips, so I thought using paintbrushes might extend my ability. And I used Bristol board for my paper, and I cut it into fourths, which was, I'm pretty sure, 11 by 14 inches was the original paper size. I don't know the smaller, what is it? When you cut the paper, it's not, the smaller size, I put into fourths. I think I remember being somewhere around like 7 to 5, whatever, I don't Anyway, I cut my paper down and then I started my sketch. I've actually drawn this before. Well, this like idea with my character Sapphire with like a sort of knife in her. Oh, warning, this is kind of, there's blood, gore. If you're like not into that, I mean, you know, click away. But it's like, it's not, I mean, my opinion, it's not that gory. It's kind of, I mean, it kind of just blocks it in my sense because it's cartoon, but warning, I guess. This is my character Sapphire. I have drawn her in this. I'm so bad at this, I can't think of words. I've drawn her in this concept idea with like a knife going through her eye because she only has one eye. I don't know why I thought this was a fun concept. I've just done it. And I started out with her and then I ended up switching because I didn't like the way I was drawing her. And I switched to a side profile, which I should never do because I'm never good at it. It's something I like heavily struggle with, except one of my like best line pictures is side profile, so I don't know, it just depends on the time of the day, the time of the year, and the time of just whatever, I don't know. It just depends when my brain wants to function. So I ended up switching back to my original idea because I liked it, just didn't like how it was going, how that certain sketch was going in the beginning, so I did go back to it. And I didn't really have any problems after. I know I did sketch the knife curve, but I kind of like it. I don't know, it just kind of, it's just more cartoon in my mind, and I like it. But there's something about Cyclopses that I always just draw them with like, I guess, creepier art. There's something about, it's like I don't find them scary. It's just, I don't know, there's something eerie about them. But anyway, this sketch, I blasted through it, I'm pretty sure. I remember it being fine, though I did struggle drawing the mouth, I think. I liked the expression for my first sketch with her mouth open, but I ended up closing her mouth because I liked the first worried expression, but now her face is like kind of neutral, which I'm okay with. I like how her mouth is closed and the blood's kind of like dripping past it. Oh, but I didn't say, I never said the prompt word. Maybe I should let you know what that is. The first prompt word for the one that I'm doing, there's like a list I found off of Pinterest. You can follow it, you don't have to. I changed some of the words. I do what I want. Because I thought, you know, I don't need to prove myself. The first prompt word I did was neon, which is kind of a little difficult doing with only black ink because there's no neon in that. So I end up actually going back with 2 inks that I have, which, fun fact, I got them because I saw a Drawing with Waffles video, and it's one of my favorite videos. And she used this yellow and pink India inks, and I was like, oh my god, I have to be just like her. I need this. So I ended up buying them. So I ended up going through and adding color to this, which I wasn't expecting to do, but I ended up doing. Through lining, I am someone who does like cross hatching, just line shading. I'll just put lines wherever I want. Throughout, I think every once in a while I draw like a line that was too big and just, there's nothing more stressful than adding bigger lines where you're trying to draw really, really thin ones. And for paintbrushes, you have to be really light in order to get that really thin line you want. So every once in a while, I'll just make it accidentally really thick, and I'm like, oh, I ruined it. But then you can't see it at the end, and sometimes I just forget where they are. But at the beginning here, when I was lining it, I'm like, this looks weird. And then I was putting the lines on her lips, and I'm like, her lips look chapped. Oh, and I was like, but I think I like the end process a lot. I definitely love all the line work I added. I'm someone who does a lot of detail when I can, and I really like drawing Sapphire's eyelashes. I give her so many eyelashes. Her eyelashes are so fluffy, and something she does have that you can't really see is she has on both sides of her eyes, she has like winged eyelashes that are really pretty long. They're usually way longer. I toned it down for this one, but I love her. She has like such pretty eyelashes. I think she's perfect for this. And a fun character thing that I usually give her like really big lips because I like the idea that she gets lip injections. I don't know why. Don't ask me. It's just like a characteristic I feel like she does. Or she does. She's very like skinny and not frail, but she's pretty skinny, so she doesn't like have very thick lips. It's just a thing she has. Not many of my characters would do that. Anyway, but I also had to go back and draw in like the jaw, because since I have my camera look like face down, I can't just like, stand up the whole time looking down on my picture, so I had to flip it up a couple times, and I had to fix the jaw. But I was really able to jump around this picture because I would shade in the hair, and then I'd stop shading in the hair because I got bored of it, and then I'd move on to somewhere else, and then I didn't touch the face for a really long time for shading it because I'm so scared to ruin it. And I also wasn't sure, by that point I didn't know how I was going to do this. I was like, oh yeah, the prompt is neon. And then by the time I got to the end when it was all black, I'm like, this has nothing to do with the prompt word. So that's when I ended up throwing color on it. So the prompt word really has nothing to do with the actual drawing. It just has everything to do with the coloring. I really enjoy the small lines. I love it so much. I was so impressed that I was able to get that small of lines. Like, I struggle with that with pens. That, you know, when you just do something, just right, or just mediocre, and you're like, oh my god, you know, I've ascended. This is, you know, for the first one I've done, you know, this is the best it's gonna get. And this is my first one for Goretober. I will be doing one for Inktober, which will go up a little bit after this video. But I am in the process of doing a handful of them. Like, if you think I'm doing all of this during October, heads up, I'm doing a little bit ahead of it. I'm breaking the rules because I want to have 2 videos up every day, and this took, I think, there's no way it took less than 4 hours. Oh my god, I'm like the slowest artist on earth. But it took me like a while. I didn't have struggle, but you know, doing inks is a lot. It's like doing a paintbrush, it's like almost doing like a full painting. And I was about to make the paper pretty big. I'm so glad I made it smaller because it makes this so much more easy to handle. So if you're doing Inktober or Goretober and you're struggling to finish a piece during one day, I would recommend making your canvas smaller. It really helped me in making sure I have like a single component to what I want to draw. So I made sure there's one focal point. So like, you know, the knife, there's a knife in her eye, boom. There's just one thing to focus on. You don't need to like throw so many things into the mix. This whole thing is, you know, all about just working on art every single day, it being small. You don't have to make it so big. So just choose something that you can work on, and I'm glad that I chose just a simple, it's almost bust, but I would just call it a regular headshot. So I'm so glad I chose something not like crazy detailed, but, well, I say not crazy detailed, but when I do pieces, I'm like, no, I didn't put that much detail into it, and then everyone's like, what do you... Anyway, I prefer sitting down and spending a long time on a drawing and putting a lot of like just detail and love into it than just spending a couple minutes. So I totally forgot what I was going on about. Anyway, just stick to one simple thing, stick to a small canvas, and if you like want to improve something, it being using a paintbrush, an actual like ink pen that you dip into the ink, or just like felt tip brush pens, any type of pen, you can do it. I really recommend, you know, just there's someone coughing in the background, just sitting down and working on something, because I'm going to be working on this for a really long time. I'm gonna have, what's 31 plus 31? Oh my god, this is so embarrassing. Because there's 30, it's two a day. Okay, do it with me. 31, okay, 1 plus 1 is 2. 3 plus 3 is 6. Wait, is it 62? Okay, I'm just not talking about the art anymore, I'm so sorry. Have you done math where it's so simple, it's confusing? I'm gonna stop talking about it because I look like an idiot. Here I move on to coloring. And I talked about those pink and yellow inks. And I, for one, didn't know if I wanted to use the pink for the vein or the yellow for the vein. I'm glad I did use pink for the blood, because if it was yellow, that probably looked very weird. Okay, think about it. And so I'm glad I used yellow for the veins, and I actually felt like it needed another color, because primary balance. Why would I not do that? So I got a blue watercolor, which is a PH Martin's one, and I have been sitting on these watercolors forever. Like, I used them once and then like gave up on them because I like felt that they weren't as vibrant, but this worked out great. This is the second time I've used it. I think it's because I didn't really need to mix any water in with it. I was just using it as like a color base. So if you need like something to color in, like an ink sketch or like ink line work, I'd recommend them. They're really great. Also, I'm so sorry for this setup. This setup is garbage. The lighting's terrible here. The lighting makes the line art look so like weird. Like, I apologize. Okay, it gets hopefully better. We can only improve from here. But I really, throughout this whole thing, I enjoyed it, but every minute was like, oh my god, what do I do next? Because I didn't know I was gonna add color. I didn't know I was gonna add the blue. I didn't know if I was gonna add the veins or not. I didn't know if I was gonna like add a background or something. Which most of my pictures I don't really add. Well, throughout this Inktober and like Goretober, I don't really add too many backgrounds unless it needs like a block of like black in the background to make like the white stand out, or if I need to color in something gray to balance back with like some white or black in the background, you know, I'll add it. But I haven't really been doing serious backgrounds, which I feel like maybe next year I'll tackle, or if there's a picture that I feel like needs one next, I'll tackle it maybe. But now that I'm doing 2 for every day, I might not do background just because I feel like it's a lot. And so far, this is the most gore my gore pictures have been. A lot of them, I'm kind of just stealing the prompts, and then, you know, whatever I come up with, I draw. I think that's totally fine if you're someone who's like, ooh, I liked these prompts, but they're supposed to be gore based. Well, just draw whatever you want from it. Like, who cares? So that's what I'm doing. It's just I had this idea for a really long time, so I'm sure I just art garbage dumped it onto a piece of paper and was like, it needs to exist. I need it to happen. And one of the things that I really like about this piece is I'm a wimp, and I didn't watercolor shade the skin. I was struggling on the eye so much, and it was like, well, it's too yellow, and then I ended up like adding blue into the mix. I'm like, oh, I don't know if I like it. So like I ended up adding blue into the lips and the eye, and I was like thinking, you can like hardly see it. It still looks pretty yellow. But I was like, if I don't add this, I'm just going to be sitting here thinking of, well, is it gonna look better or worse if I add it? So I ended up adding it. And I ended up adding the yellow on top and the pink on bottom, which I really like. I feel like it balances out the yellow in the skin, and then the scrunchie on top, which is the pink. But I love this picture. It's probably one of my favorites of this character. She like deserves everything, and I just don't draw her as much as I should. And well, I'm sure if you've seen my like last Speedpaints, I drew her a bunch, so I've gotten some really good practice with her. And if you are interested in this picture, I'll have it as a print up on my Etsy for $15 if you want to just go and snag it. I'll show, here's the final picture, and if you like it or enjoy it, you know, go ahead and go get it. I will be selling all of my ink pictures that I do, drawings. So if you're interested in buying some of my art, but you're like, well, I don't know if this is the one that I should buy right now, I'll have math again, I'll have 62. I'll have 62 prints by the end of this, so I mean, choose your pick by the end of the month. They'll be up for a while, so if you're interested in any of that, go ahead and just look in the description and it'll be there. But I think that's all I have to say. I really enjoyed doing this drawing. I think it was super fun. I highly recommend people just sitting down, grabbing some inks, or if you just want, you don't have to make it Inktober, just do like Drawtober. Like, just go at it. Just get some pencils, just draw every day. It's really fun. Please, if you'd like to support by the prints, if you just want to support by liking the video, sharing, thanks. And feel free, if you end up looking at this on the end of October or during the middle of October, I will be working on more prints. And there'll be 2 every day for the day of October, so go check them out if they're up. Thank you for joining me through this process. I hope you enjoyed it too. I think that's all I have to say. That's all I have to say. Thank you for joining. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks. Hope your day is going well. I can't seem to end this. Bye. So stupid.